The human ships arrived like a storm that no one expected. They dropped out of warp close to Kalis Prime, not at a safe distance like most fleets. Endurance led them all, its long, straight hull cut through the black space. Behind it came the destroyers and support ships in tight formation. No wasted space, no show of power, just purpose. Captain Ethan Hayes stood on the bridge. He watched the main screen. Red dots showed sworn ships everywhere. Green dots showed the broken coalition lines. He spoke quietly to his crew. Launch all fighters. Ground teams prepare for drop. We go in hard and fast. Lieutenant Noah Carter sat in his fighter cockpit. He checked his weapons one more time. His hands moved quick and sure. He had flown against pirates and rebels before. This was different. This enemy did not talk. It did not run. It just came. Red Squadron, form up, Noah said over the comms. We hit the lead wave. Draw their fire. Fighters shot out into space. They flew in small groups of 4. No fancy patterns, just straight lines toward the enemy. From the coalition command bunker, the alien officers watched every move. Admiral Chittervax clicked his mandibles fast. He did not like what he saw. Small ships, he said. No heavy armor, no massive guns. They will break in minutes. Analyst Lyra stared at the crystal display. Her body glowed softly as data flowed through her. They move with precision, she said. Every ship knows its place. No hesitation. Seer Thal floated closer to the holotable. His mind reached out. He touched the edges of human thoughts. He pulled back fast. They are not afraid, he whispered. Not even a little. The first clash happened high above the planet. Swarm interceptors swarmed like angry flies. They had sharp claws and acid spit. They targeted the human fighters first. His wingman, Ensign Ava Ramirez, flew on his right. She was young. This was her first real war, but her voice stayed steady. Targets locked, Ava said, firing. Missiles streaked out. Bright flashes lit the dark. Swarm craft exploded in clouds of green fire. The humans did not stop. They rolled and turned. They chased the survivors. One swarm ship latched onto a human fighter. It tore into the wing. The pilot ejected. His pod tumbled away. Before the swarm could finish the kill, 2 other fighters turned back. They poured fire into the attacker until it broke apart. Noah spoke over the channel. Keep pushing. Do not let them regroup. Below on the surface, Major Sophia Grant waited in her drop pod. She sat with her platoon, 20 soldiers in heavy armor. Their faces were calm. Some checked rifles, others sharpened knives. One private named Elijah Brooks hummed a quiet song. Sophia looked at her team. We clear a path for the next wave. We hold until relieved. Questions? No one spoke. They just nodded. The pods launched. They fell fast toward the eastern breach. Flames wrapped around them as they hit atmosphere. Swarm anti-air fire tried to hit them. Most missed. A few pods exploded in bright bursts. The rest kept falling. Sophia's pod slammed into the dirt near a ruined city wall. The hatch blew open. Smoke and dust filled the air. She stepped out first. Rifle up. She scanned the area. Swarm bioforms charged from the shadows. Tall ones with blade arms. Small ones that scuttled fast. They hissed and clicked. Form line, Sophia shouted. Fire at will. Rifles barked. Bullets ripped through swarm flesh. Grenades flew. Explosions tore holes in the enemy ranks. One soldier took a claw to the chest. He fell. Another dragged him back while the rest kept shooting. Sophia moved forward. She threw a grenade over a broken wall. It landed among a group of swarm. The blast sent pieces flying. She did not stop to look. She advanced. From orbit, the aliens watched the ground feeds. Chittervax leaned closer. They fight like they have no fear of death, he said. Lyra's light pulsed. They use the ground, see? They hide behind ruins. They make traps from debris. They do not stand in open fields like we do. Thal closed his eyes. Their minds shout. Anger, focus, joy in the fight. It is strange. It is strong. Up in space, the cruiser Endurance turned toward a large swarm hive ship. The hive was huge. Spikes covered its surface. It launched more dropships every second. Captain Ethan Hayes gave the order. All batteries, target the core, fire on my mark. Guns along the hull lit up. Beams of white energy struck the hive. Chunks broke off. The hive tried to fire back. Its shots hit the shields. Endurance shook, but held. Again, Ethan said. The hive cracked open. Fire poured out. It listed to one side, slow, dying. Human fighters swarmed around it. They flew close, too close. They fired into the wounds. One pilot, Lucas King, flew his damaged fighter straight at a gun port. He ejected at the last second. His craft slammed in. The explosion spread inside the hive. The aliens saw it all. Chittervax made a low sound. Suicide? Lyra checked the data. No. Calculated. He knew the escape window. He took the risk. Thal spoke softly. They trade lives for advantage, without regret. On the ground, Sophia's platoon pushed deeper into the city. Swarm kept coming. Waves after waves. The humans used everything. They flipped cars for cover. They dropped buildings on enemy groups. They shouted to each other over the noise. Left flank, Elijah yelled. He fired his rifle until it clicked empty. He pulled a pistol and kept shooting. Sophia saw a big swarm beast charge her position. It had 6 legs and a mouth full of teeth. She stood her ground. She aimed. She fired 3 shots into its head. It fell hard. Her radio crackled. Captain Hayes's voice came through. Major Grant, status. We hold the block, she said, but they keep coming. Hold 1 more hour, Ethan said. Reinforcements drop soon. You are not alone. Sophia smiled under her helmet. Copy that. We got this. The battle stretched on. Hours passed. Humans did not pull back. They pushed. They bled. They laughed sometimes. Short, hard laughs between shots. In the bunker, Chittervax turned to the others. I thought them weak, he said. I was wrong. Lyra nodded slowly. They do not fight like us. We seek advantage. They seek victory, at any cost. Thal opened his eyes wide. The swarm adapts to weapons, to tactics. But this is new. Humans change faster. They think in chaos. They thrive in it. Outside the planet, more human ships arrived. Transports, medical ships. They did not wait. They sent more fighters, more troops. The swarm slowed its advance. For the first time in years, it hesitated. The young species had come. And the old galaxy began to understand. They did not come to talk. They came to fight. And they would not stop. The battle for Kalis Prime turned into pure chaos. Smoke covered the sky. Explosions shook the ground every few seconds. Swarm bioforms poured through the broken city walls like black water. They climbed over their own dead. They did not care about losses. They just kept coming. Major Sophia Grant stood on the second floor of a half-collapsed building. Her platoon held the street below. Rifles flashed in the dark. Bullets tore into swarm flesh. The enemy adapted fast. Their skin grew thicker against bullets. Their claws cut through metal shields. Sophia saw one of her soldiers go down. A blade arm sliced his leg clean off. The man screamed once. Then he pulled a grenade from his belt. He rolled toward the swarm beast and pulled the pin. The blast threw both of them apart in pieces. Sophia did not pause. She shouted down to her team. Switch to heavies. Use the launchers. 2 soldiers pulled out shoulder-fired rockets. They aimed at a group of tall swarm walkers. The rockets flew straight. They hit. Fire bloomed. Chunks of bioarmor flew everywhere. The walkers fell. More came to take their place. Lieutenant Noah Carter flew above it all. His fighter danced through the sky. Swarm interceptors chased him. He rolled hard left. Ava Ramirez stayed on his wing. She fired her cannons. 2 enemies exploded behind them. "Watch your 6, Noah," Ava said. Her voice stayed calm, even as sparks flew from her damaged engine. "I see them," Noah answered. He pulled up sharp. The swarm followed. He cut his engines for a second. The enemy overshot. Noah turned and fired. The lead interceptor burst into green flame. "Red Squadron, new orders," Captain Ethan Hayes said over the comms. "The Hive Nexus is pushing reserves to the Eastern Front. We need to slow them. Draw as many as you can." Noah grinned under his helmet. "Copy that. Time to be annoying." The squadron broke formation. They flew low over the city. They strafed swarm ground troops. They dropped small bombs on supply clusters. Every pass pulled more interceptors away from the main coalition lines. On the ground, Sophia's platoon fell back 1 block. They used the ruins smart. They rigged explosives in doorways. When swarm rushed in, the blasts collapsed whole walls on top of them. One soldier, Elijah Brooks, ran out of ammo. He picked up a broken pipe. He swung it like a club. He cracked a swarm skull. Another soldier tossed him a fresh rifle. Elijah caught it one-handed and kept firing. Sophia watched her people. They bled, they limped, they shouted jokes between shots. "Think the bugs like my new haircut?" one private yelled as he fired a burst. Another laughed. "They love it. That's why they keep coming back for more." Sophia felt something strange in her chest. Pride. These were not machines. They hurt, they feared, yet they stayed. They fought harder when things got worse. From orbit, the alien officers saw everything on the feeds. Admiral Chittervax gripped the edge of the holotable so hard his claws left marks. "They should break," he said. "No species fights like this after so many losses." Analyst Lyra studied the numbers. Their casualty rate climbs, yet their advance speed increases. They use pain as fuel. Seer Thal floated closer. His glow flickered. I touched their minds again. It is loud, full of fire. They see death and laugh at it. They see impossible odds and plan how to win anyway. A new feed appeared. Captain Ethan Hayes on the Bridge of Endurance. His ship took hits. Shields dropped to 30%. A swarm boarding pod had attached to the hull. Marines fought inside the corridors to clear it. Ethan spoke to his crew. "Engineering, reroute power to forward guns. We do not lose this ship." His voice never rose, never shook. Chittervax stared. He commands from the front. He risks himself the same as his lowest soldier. Lyra's crystal body pulsed. That is their way. Leaders do not hide. They lead. The ground battle reached its hardest point. Swarm pushed a new wave. Thousands of small scuttlers. They climbed buildings. They dropped from rooftops. Sophia's platoon got surrounded on 3 sides. "Fall back to Rally Point Delta," Sophia ordered. They moved fast. They covered each other. One Marine carried a wounded friend on his back while firing one-handed. Another threw his last grenade. It cleared a path. They reached the rally point. Fresh human troops waited there. Drop pods had just landed. New soldiers stepped out. They looked tired but ready. They took positions without a word. Sophia met the new platoon leader, a captain named Henry Cole. "Captain Hayes sends his regards," Henry said. "He says hold this line. Reinforcements come soon." Sophia nodded. "We hold." The fight went on. Hours blurred. Day turned to night under the smoke. Humans did not rest. When one fell, another took his place. When weapons broke, They used pieces of the dead swarm as clubs. When ammo ran dry, they fought hand to hand. Noah's fighter took a bad hit. His left engine died. Smoke trailed behind him. He still flew. He drew a whole swarm of interceptors away from the city. Red leader, eject, Ava said. You're done. Not yet, Noah answered. He aimed at a large swarm bomber. He flew straight at it. At the last second, he pulled up. His wing clipped the bomber. It spun out of control and crashed into a group of its own ships. Noah's fighter spun too. Alarm screamed. He fought the controls. Come on, baby, he muttered. Just a little more. Barely. He limped back toward the carrier. In space, Endurance fired its last heavy volley. The beam cut through a swarm carrier. The enemy ship split in half. Secondary explosions lit the sky. Ethan watched the screen. Good hit. All ships focus fire on the Nexus. We end this push today. The aliens in the bunker saw the change. The swarm slowed. Their waves grew smaller. Their attacks lost strength. For the first time, the enemy hesitated. Chittervax spoke low. They forced the swarm to think, to defend. No one has done that in decades. Lyra turned to him. Humans do not wait for perfect plans. They make chaos and win in it. Thal's voice came soft. Their spirit is a blade. Sharp. Unbreakable. The swarm cuts itself against them. On the ground, Sophia stood on a pile of dead swarm. Her armor was cracked. Blood ran down her face from a cut. She looked at her remaining team. Less than half left. They still held their rifles. They still watched the streets. She keyed her radio. Captain Hayes, Eastern Sector still ours. Request resupply. And maybe a hot meal when this ends. Ethan's voice came back. Tired but strong. Resupply inbound. Hold tight, Major. You are the line the swarm cannot cross. Sophia looked up at the sky. Human ships still fought. Fighters still flew. The battle raged. But something had shifted. The swarm no longer advanced without fear. The humans had taught it doubt. The weeks passed like a slow, grinding storm on Kalis Prime. The red dust never settled. The air always tasted of metal and burnt flesh. Swarm attacks came every day. But now they came slower. They came careful. The enemy no longer rushed blind. They tested, they watched, they learned. Major Sophia Grant walked the forward line at dawn. Her platoon had grown again. Fresh faces from new drops mixed with the old ones who still carried scars. Elijah Brooks limped beside her. His arm stayed in a sling, but he refused to leave the front. He carried a rifle anyway. They stopped at a ridge. Below them stretched a wide valley. Swarm forces gathered there, not charging, just waiting. Thousands of bioforms stood in ranks. Tall walkers, small scuttlers, huge carriers that pulsed with red light. Sophia lowered her binoculars. They build something, she said. Elijah nodded. A new nexus, bigger than the last. They want to break us in one push. In orbit, the cruiser Endurance floated closer to the planet than ever. Its hull showed fresh scars. Patches covered old holes. Captain Ethan Hayes stood on the bridge. He studied the same valley on the main screen. Tactical, he said. Give me numbers. The officer answered fast. Swarm mass exceeds previous peaks. They commit reserves. Estimated attack in 48 hours. Ethan turned to his XO. Coordinate with Coalition Command. We hit first. Joint strike. Humans lead the ground assault. Coalition provides fire support from above. The XO hesitated. Sir, our losses already. We finish this, Ethan cut in. No half measures. Down on the surface, Sophia gathered her officers. Captain Henry Coles stood with her. Lieutenant Noah Carter arrived on crutches. His leg broke in the ejection. He still flew sims from a mobile command tent. We go in tonight, Sophia said. Small teams. Disrupt their build. Draw them out. Then the main force hits. Noah grinned. I can still fly. Give me a bird. I'll keep their air busy. Sophia looked at him. You sure? Try to stop me, he said. The plan moved fast. Human scouts slipped through the dark. They planted charges on swarm supply lines. Explosions bloomed at midnight. The valley lit up. Swarm reacted. They sent hunters after the saboteurs. Sophia led one team herself. They moved low through canyons. They reached the edge of the nexus. A huge structure rose there. Black spines twisted up. Red veins pumped inside. It looked alive. Charges ready, Elijah whispered. Sophia nodded. Set them. Then we run. They placed the bombs. As they pulled back, a swarm patrol spotted them. Alarms screeched. Bioforms charged. Go, Sophia shouted. They ran. Bullets flew behind them. One soldier fell. Another dragged him. They reached a narrow gap. She fired full auto. The swarm slowed. Her team made it through. Above, Noah's fighter launched. He flew with pain in every move. Ava Ramirez flew wingman again. They dove into the valley. Swarm interceptors rose to meet them. Noah spoke over comms. Red Squadron, make noise. Keep them looking up. They strafed the nexus. Bombs fell. Parts of the structure cracked. Swarm air units chased them. Noah rolled hard. He lost 2 on his tail. Ava took a hit. Her ship smoked. Pull back, Ava, Noah said. Not without you, she answered. They flew together. They drew the enemy away from the ground teams. At first light, the main assault began. Human troops advanced in waves. They used every trick. They moved through smoke. They used captured swarm tunnels. They flanked. They hid from sides the enemy did not expect. Sophia led the center push. Her people charged the Nexus core. Swarm fought back hard. Claws met armor. Teeth met flesh. Others stepped over them and kept going. Endurance fired from orbit. Beams stabbed down. They cut swaths through swarm ranks. Coalition ships joined. Krell heavy cruisers, Vorath crystal lances, Solari mind pulses. For the first time, the aliens fought beside humans without doubt. In the bunker, Admiral Chittervax watched the feeds. His mandibles stayed still. They lead, he said. We follow. Analyst Lyra pulsed bright. Their losses mount, yet they push. No pause, no fear. Seer Thal spoke soft. Their minds burn white. They see the end and run toward it. The swarm feels confusion. It feels dread. The Nexus core loomed. Sophia reached it. She planted the final charges. Swarm guards rushed her. She fought hand to hand. A blade cut her side. She ignored it. She set the timer. Everyone out, she yelled. Her team pulled back. The charges blew. The Nexus shook. Cracks spread. Red light flared. Then the whole thing collapsed inward. Fire swallowed it. The swarm lines broke. Biofords turned. Some ran. Some froze. Others attacked without order. Chaos took them. Human troops pressed the advantage. They mopped up pockets. They took no prisoners. The swarm had none to give. Ethan Hayes watched from the bridge. The screen showed victory. He let out a slow breath. Cease fire on my order, he said. Let them retreat. We own the field. The battle ended at dusk. Silence fell over the valley. Smoke rose slow. Bodies covered the ground. Most swarm. Some human. Sophia sat on a rock. Medics worked on her side. Elijah sat nearby, his sling gone. He stared at the dead Nexus. We did it, he said. Sophia looked up. We started it. The galaxy finishes it. In the command bunker, the alien officers stood quiet. Chittervax turned to the others. I saw warriors before, he said. Never like this. They do not fight for land, not for glory. They fight for something else. They fight because the fight exists. And they refuse to lose. Lyra nodded. Their will bends reality. The swarm adapts to all but that. Thal's glow dimmed low. The stars feared many things. Now they fear humans. Not their ships, not their guns. Their refusal to die quiet. Captain Ethan Hayes appeared on the screen. His uniform torn. Blood on his sleeve. He looked tired but steady. Coalition Command, he said. Halos Prime secure. Swarm forces broken. Request assistance with cleanup and wounded. Chittervax answered. Assistance en route. And, thank you. Ethan gave a small nod. No smile. No boast. Just doing the job, he said. The screen went dark. Outside, human soldiers helped coalition troops clear the field. They shared water. They shared stories in broken trade language. No one cheered loud. They just worked. The young race had come unasked. They bled. They died. They won. And the old galaxy learned a hard truth. When humans entered the battlefield, everything changed. Not because they were the strongest, but because they never quit. The dust settled slow over Kalis Prime. The red planet looked different now. Craters smoked where swarm hives once stood. Broken bioforms lay everywhere. Some still twitched. Most stayed still. The sky cleared for the first time in weeks. Stars showed bright through thin clouds. Human soldiers walked the field. They helped wounded friends. They carried dead to marked zones. No loud cheers, no victory dances, just quiet work. Faces tired, eyes hard. They had paid a high price. Major Sophia Grant sat on a broken wall near the old command post. A medic finished wrapping her side. The cut still burned. She ignored it. She looked out at the valley. Smoke rose in thin lines. Coalition troops moved among the ruins. Krell soldiers clicked soft thanks to humans who passed. Vorath analysts scanned debris with glowing hands. Solari floated silent. Their minds touched the air gentle now. Captain Ethan Hayes walked up. His uniform hung torn. One sleeve ripped. A sling held his left arm. He stopped beside Sophia. He did not sit. He just looked at the same view. Report says the swarm pulled back past the outer rim, he said. They lost their main nexus. They need time to rebuild. Sophia nodded once. They will come again. Ethan gave a small shrug. Then we will be here. A transport landed nearby. Dust swirled. Coalition officers stepped out. Admiral Chittervax led them. His carapace showed new scratches. Analyst Lyra followed. Her crystal body caught the starlight. Seer Thal floated last. His glow stayed low and steady. They approached Ethan and Sophia. Chittervax stopped a short distance away. He clicked his mandibles once. The translator box spoke clear. Captain Hayes, Major Grant, the Coalition owes you a debt. Kalis Prime stands because of you. Ethan met his eyes. We all fought. Your ships covered us. Your troops held flanks. No debt, just a win. Your species fights in ways we do not understand. You take wounds and keep moving. You lose friends and laugh after. Why? Sophia looked at her. We do what needs doing. If we stop, more die. Simple. Thal spoke soft. His voice touched their minds gentle. I felt your thoughts during the battle. They burned bright, full of rage, full of sorrow, full of joy in the fight. You do not fear the end. You greet it like an old friend. That frightens even the swarm. Ethan rubbed his bad arm. We know death. We see it every day back home, too. Wars, accidents, sickness. We learned long ago that fear does not help. Action does. Chittervax tilted his head. The galaxy thought itself safe from such things. Ancient races, strong fleets, deep knowledge. We avoided total war. We calculated costs. Humans do not calculate the same way. A faint smile touched Ethan's lips. We calculate. We just decide the cost is worth it. They stood quiet for a moment. Wind moved across the field. It carried the smell of ozone and charred flesh. Lyra spoke again. Word spreads already. Traders carry stories to distant systems. Ambassadors whisper in neutral stations. They say humans came unasked. They bled for a world not theirs. They broke the swarm where others failed. Thal added, the old powers fear now. Not your weapons, not your numbers, your refusal. You turn pain into purpose. You make sacrifice a weapon. The cosmos never saw that before. Sophia stood up slow. She winced but straightened. We did not come to scare anyone. We came because no one else would. Chittervax clicked soft. Yet you did. And now the stars know. When humans enter a fight, the rules change. The swarm learned it first. Others will remember. Ethan looked at the horizon. We go home soon. Repairs, rest, then back to patrol. Space stays big. Threats stay many. No more words needed. Later that night, a small gathering happened on the flat top of Mount Vara. Human troops mixed with coalition ones. Fires burned low. Rations shared. Stories told in broken trade talk and gestures. A young private named Elijah Brooks sat near a Krell soldier. The Krell offered a flask of something strong. Elijah took a sip. He coughed, then laughed. The Krell clicked amusement. Sophia stood apart. She watched. Noah Carter limped over on his crutches. Ava Ramirez walked beside him. His leg still hurt, her arm in a cast. Think they will remember us? Noah asked. Sophia shrugged. Does not matter. We remember why we came. Ava looked up at the stars. Next time it could be our home. Someone will come then. Noah nodded. And we will be ready. Ethan joined them. He carried 3 cups of hot drink from the field kitchen. He handed them out. They drank in silence. Cleanup teams worked. Medical tents glowed with lights. Ships lifted off to carry wounded to orbit hospitals. In the command bunker, now half empty, Chittervax stood alone at the holo table. The display showed empty space where swarm fleets once gathered. He turned it off. He spoke to no one. The young ones taught us something old. Courage is not strength. It is the choice to stand when everything says fall. He walked out into the night. Days later, the human fleet prepared to leave. Endurance led them again. Hull patched, guns quiet, fighters stowed. Captain Ethan Hayes stood on the bridge. The crew worked around him. He looked at Kalis Prime one last time. Set course for Earth space, he said. Warp in 5. The ship turned slow. Engines hummed. Stars stretched. On the ground, Sophia watched them go. She stood with Elijah and others. They saluted as the ships climbed. A Vorath analyst approached. Lyra. She stopped beside Sophia. Your people leave no monuments, she said. No demands, just memory. Sophia nodded. That is enough. The fleet vanished into warp. Silence returned. But the galaxy had changed. Traders spoke of humans in quiet bars on far worlds. Diplomats added new clauses to treaties. Old races looked at star maps different now. The swarm hid in dark corners. It rebuilt slow. It remembered the humans who refused to break. And somewhere, in the deep black, a single thought spread. When humans enter the battlefield, dread wakes. Not from their ships, not from their guns, from the fire inside them. A fire that burns until the fight ends, or until they do. And they rarely do. The stars burned cold above Kalis Prime. For more than 40 years, the Galactic Coalition had battled the Swarm. The Swarm was not one enemy. It was millions, billions, endless waves of living machines fused with flesh. They did not think like others. They consumed, they adapted, they spread. Every species in the coalition had lost worlds to them. The Krell lost their hive cities. The Vorath saw their crystal spires melt into black slag. The Solari felt their minds scream as swarm spores invaded their thoughts. No one stopped the tide. No one slowed it for long. Kalis Prime was the last strong point on the border. A dry, red planet with high mountains and deep canyons. Coalition forces held the surface cities and the orbital stations. They fought every day. They died every day. Supplies ran low. Ships broke apart in orbit. Soldiers stopped sleeping. They just waited for the next attack. In the main command bunker under Mount Vara, officers from 3 species stood around a glowing holotable. Admiral Chittervax of the Krell clicked his mandibles in anger. His black carapace shone under the dim lights. Beside him stood Analyst Lyra of the Vorath. Her body was made of clear crystal. Light bent inside her as she moved. Seer Thal of the Solari floated a short distance away. His pale skin glowed faintly. His large black eyes stared at nothing. The holotable showed the sky above the planet. Thousands of swarm dropships filled the view. They looked like black beetles with glowing red veins. They fell like rain. Some burned up in the atmosphere. Most reached the ground. Explosions bloomed across the plains. Coalition fighters tried to stop them. Many died in seconds. "We cannot hold another wave," Chittervax said. His voice came through a translator box on his chest. It sounded flat and tired. Lyra turned her faceted head. "Our shields fail in the eastern sector. Ground troops report breaches in 3 cities. Casualties exceed 70% in the front lines." Thal spoke in a soft whisper that echoed in their minds. "The swarm learns our patterns. They change faster than we can react. Hope dies here today." No one answered. They had said the same words before on other worlds. Each time the words became more true. A junior officer at the back of the room made a sharp sound. All eyes turned to him. He pointed at a new blip on the sensor display. "Incoming signal," he said. "Unknown origin. Approaching at high warp. Multiple contacts." Chittervax waved a claw. "Show it." The holotable shifted. A formation of ships appeared at the edge of the system. They came out of warp together. Clean lines. Dark gray hulls with white and blue markings. Not large like Coalition dreadnoughts. Not strange like Solari living ships. Simple, practical, human. A voice came over the open channel, clear, calm, in standard trade language. "This is Captain Ethan Hayes of the United Earth Navy cruiser Endurance. We received your distress calls. We are here to help. All ships, prepare for combat operations." Silence filled the bunker. Lyra tilted her head. "Humans." Chittervax made a low rasp. "The new ones. Barely 200 years in space. Traders, explorers, not warriors." Thal closed his eyes for a moment. "I sense many minds. Focused, not afraid." The junior officer checked his screen again. "They bring 23 vessels, 1 heavy cruiser, 8 destroyers, 14 support ships, fighters launching now." Chittervax stared at the display. "They come straight to the front. No questions, no demands for payment, no retreat path planned." Lyra's crystal surface flickered with inner light. "Their databases say humans fight among themselves often. They have many wars in their short history, but never against something like the swarm." The swarm dropships kept falling. Ground explosions grew louder. Coalition troops sent final reports. Some said goodbye. Others just screamed. Then the human ships moved. They did not form a defensive wall. They did not wait for orders from Coalition Command. They pushed forward. Endurance led the way. Its main guns fired long streaks of white light. Swarm ships burst apart when the shots hit. Human fighters poured out like angry insects. They flew tight groups. They turned sharp. They attacked head-on. From the bunker, the officers watched. One destroyer, the name Lincoln painted on its side, flew straight into a cloud of swarm interceptors. It did not slow. Its point defense guns spun and spat fire. Dozens of small swarm craft died in moments. The destroyer kept going. Captain Ethan Hayes appeared on the command screen. He wore a simple gray uniform, short brown hair, steady blue eyes. A small cut on his cheek still bled. He looked like someone who had fought many times before. "We see your positions," he said. "We will cover the eastern breach. Major Sophia Grant leads our ground teams. They drop in 5 minutes. Request link to your tactical net." Chittervax hesitated. Then he nodded. Link granted. The humans moved faster now. Drop pods launched from their transports. Red streaks fell toward the planet. They aimed for the worst fighting zones, places where coalition soldiers had already pulled back. Falls spoke quietly. Their thoughts: they do not run from death, they run toward it. Lyra watched the holo. Why? What drives a young species to this? No one had an answer. Outside, the sky turned red from fire and plasma. Coalition defenders fired until their weapons glowed hot. Then they used claws, teeth, anything. And still, the human pods came down. One pod hit the ground hard, near a fallen Krell outpost. The hatch blew open. Soldiers in dark armor stepped out. They carried heavy rifles. Grenades hung from their belts. They did not wait. They charged straight at the swarm line. A human voice shouted over the open channel. "Lieutenant Noah Carter. Keep moving. Clear the zone for the next wave." Explosions answered him. In the bunker, Chittervax stared at the feed from a ground drone. Humans fought in the mud and blood. One soldier lost an arm to a swarm claw. He did not stop. He switched the rifle to his other hand and kept firing. Another human laughed, a short, hard sound. Then he threw a grenade into a group of bioforms. Lyra whispered, "They bleed, they break, yet they stand." Fall's glow dimmed. The swarm fears nothing. Until now. Far above, the cruiser Endurance fired again. A swarm hive ship the size of a mountain split open. Fire bloomed inside it. The humans did not cheer. They just reloaded and looked for the next target. Captain Ethan Hayes spoke once more over the channel. His voice stayed calm. "We hold here. No one falls back unless ordered. Let's remind the swarm what a real fight looks like." The words were simple, but in the command bunker, the alien officers felt something shift, something cold, something new. The young species had arrived, and the battle had just begun.